Alright, we are on board here. We are ready for this as well. Alright, we're gonna start the formation lap. The drivers in the pits do not do the formation lap.
You have admin perms? No. Okay. Thank you.
It does not work. This formation lap is starting. You guys can start your formation lap. We're at the pit lane light. You will know when you can go, Twin. As we are riding here with Admanas, the guy in P2 in the formation lap. It has taken a very long time, but we are back here. Very happy with that as well.
Oh, Shuffle, remember to reset CCs when
Yeah.
one lines up.
Alright, that's fine, Mr. Monaco. Well, a lot of medium starters as well. Very interesting to see what happens here today in Hockenheim, first race of the season. We have a good amount of drivers on track, 11 lining up in the formation lap. We have like 6 drivers in the pit lane as well. This might be one of the most active races we have had in a very long time, as I'm not allowed to move myself within. Alright, there we go.
So many people. A single tear is falling from my eye.
Yeah.
Formula Oof is finally back.
It's finally back, man. It has taken such a long time. The championship, first time we can see anything happen today. Noob Empire Racing on pole. It's Lambo on P3, and what is Admanas doing? And it's not a GMG on P3, but technically it is, although he's starting P4. Robo-Meister right behind him. And let's see what kind of show we have here today. As I will go on board with our post sitter, and there's not a lot of urban banding, which in my opinion is very, very good.
Alright, can you remind the box starters when they can start?
I will remember. I will let them know.
Also reset corner cuts.
Yeah, sure. Let me do that real quick. Alright, and it's time to drive here once again in Formula Oof. The lights go on here today in Hockenheim. And we are up and running here today in Hockenheim for the first time in a very long time. It's a great getaway for Infinity, even a better one for a Robo-Mace already lining up right beside the Lambos. As I will change all the laps real quick. As the drivers will now make the first laps here, Infinity in the lead, and I forgot a crucial thing, but that's not quite important. In Robo-Mace,
the Lambo now seizing up for an
for the first place spot. Here comes Atman, drifting Casey no far behind Infinity. Infinity kind of dropping back a little bit compared to Atman. Atman in the lead and drifting Casey no far behind. Robo-Mesa is not very far behind either. Let me make sure this is going correctly as well.
Otman and Infinity are neck and neck.
Neck and neck,
Infinity
side by
with
side,
a better
very
exit
close.
Mercedes.
As for the first lap, Infinity stays just ahead of Manos, as I don't know a lot what's happening in the back. Let me check. Sparticha battling it out with the outer lamp of H-Dry, who's almost into the gravel traps. Keeps out of it. We'll go back with Robo Mesa. He's being chased by a Perez Motorsports car. In the meantime, Manos takes a small gap to the rest of the grid. Two Lambos, two NS Motorsports not far behind with each other. And Capro is P8, P9 will be Sparticha and Carl Bernalism. And Twin Turbo V6 is on the leaderboard, but he does not have a gap. He's just too fast for that. As in terms of corner cut, we already have a 5-second time penalty for Isle of Football. Aidan McGreedy, 5 seconds added to your total time. Unless you do a pit stop, then it will be resetted and you wait 5 seconds. As we already have a car that is pulling up here, and it's Sky Kai. Let me see where you pull off.
Meanwhile, the top 3 are already breaking from the rest of the grid, especially the top 2. Yeah. Infinity leading from Otmanos, who is close, only 1 second away last lap. They're both managing really well. As of now, the fastest lap is Infinity's 122.9. Let's keep in mind, that was from a standing start. Most drivers can get a 122.9 even if they're with a running start. And Infinity just set a 119.0, but it was invalid. Yeah, that would have been the
Drifting Casey might have made a mistake. Sorry to interrupt Josh, but in Drifting Casey might have made a mistake. He went from P3 to a whopping P7. Drifting Casey, yeah, he's battling it out with the NS Motorsports car. He's dropping back quite a big margin. In the meantime, it's a group here together. Look at the gaps between the top 4, P4 till P7, not far behind at all. Here comes Wacky Harrison trying to make a move on his hard tires. Gets overtaken by both Drifting Casey and the 2 NS Motorsports car, with a great exit there as well for them. But Drifting Casey stays slightly ahead, so let's head back to Capro, where he is just in a field of his own, not close enough to the guys in front and too far behind for the people in front of him.
That's a spin for Infinity, who loses a lot of ground.
I love footballs around as well.
Barely stays ahead. Infinity needs to make less of these mistakes if he wants to keep the lead. Both Otmanos and Infinity within half a second of each other. This is turning into an exciting race because of an error, probably caused from a bump in a Mobile 1 corner.
And
meanwhile, Robo
Mesa
comes on.
Yeah, if we look at the last lap time of Robo Mesa, it was a valid lap time, 122.5. I just think he's playing the safe game, trying to get as little as corner cuts as possible. Capro with already 10 seconds, he's just doing what he was known for last season. And here comes Otman around the inside and just cannot make it stick just yet. Very close, so side by side, a little bit of rubber bending going on. I love Infinity stays.
At the moment, Otman is barely ahead of Infinity. Let's see if he can keep the lead. Infinity gets an amazing exit from Mercedes. He's currently ahead. They're side by side going into Mobile 1. Let's see if Infinity learned from his mistakes as they both go through. Infinity lifts a bit. Otman has to lift a lot more as he goes off the track and into the gravel. Spins twice. Well, not spins, but you know.
They did not spin.
Has a bit of a, yeah, he had a bit of a moment.
Yeah, in the meantime, Lemon has joined, but
Infinity, though, with 2 corner cuts now.
Oh, and we have a guest driver who has joined. It's our defending champion, or he's not driving now, but he's our champion of last season. Gappy Po has joined. Ooh, H-Dry has been disconnected. Where is his car? Because if it's still on track, then there might be a issue right here. Is there a car still on track, or is it off track? Because if it's off track, it's fine.
Aquacar, in the meanwhile, in P3. These are great scenes. So, at the moment, the leaderboard is Infinity, followed close behind by Otmanus, an incredible gap to third place, which is Aquacar. Then Drifting Casey, Robo Mesa, who was one of the favorites for the championship in P5. Then Wacky in P6 with the Paris Motorsports rocket ship. Q-Pro in a provisionary P7 because of his many corner cuts. Then we have Twin Turbo, I Love Football, the other NS car in P9. Cube, last year's runner-up for World Champion in P10. Then both of the Astrals in P11 and P12.
Yeah, and I do believe Robo Mesa has made a massive mistake somewhere because he's falling back like a prick. He did a 129 last lap. He's now back on track. Twin Turbo P6 does a valid lap time, and he's.
Otmanus might have done a very big mistake as well. He dropped 2 seconds from Infinity in only 1 lap.
And if we look at.
And Infinity just had a 119.5, which is faster than the pole lap.
But if we look at the corner cuts as well, it's a 10-second penalty for Injurman as well. For the rest, it's still clear. Capra approaching that 15 seconds already. I Love Football also approaching 10 seconds. Infinity is very close to the 5-second time penalty. And in the meantime, Robo Mesa very clean. So is Aquacar with only 1 corner cut. So yeah, it's very widespread. As we go on board with Aquacar now on the podium position. That's a great story for today. Aqua on the podium, and there's a Lambo there in the wall.
A Lambo in the wall? Okay, it's not Otman. Otman is still
No, it's the old car of Astra, which is fine. Okay. Because it's off track. If it was stuck on track, then we would have had a brief yellow period.
Meanwhile, Cube just dropped out of the points. This is not what you like to see.
Josh, the top 12 is points, right? Keep that in mind.
Cube is not out of the points.
Cube is definitely not.
But he has dropped a single position, which is not good for NER's championship hopes. Meanwhile, Infinity is keeping a solid gap to Otman. Aquacar has lost his 3rd place position, which has been taken by Drifting Casey. Spiker versus NS, the 2 orange teams are battling it out for a podium position. But these are great scenes in our first race.
Is Drifting Casey, my apologies, is Spiker really orange though? I mean, their emblem is orange, their car is definitely not orange. But as it stands, we do have a bingo card being fulfilled. And surprise podium, because who would have thought that Drifting Casey would be on the podium today? We're currently in lap 8 of 48. Manos dropping back to Infinity for the moment. Drifting Casey and Robo Mesa very far behind. And Robo Mesa said in the beginning, I'm just gonna make as little mistakes as possible. And he's now a victim of a mistake. So let's see how that all pans out for them.
As we have, I think, our first couple of lappings already.
What's happening with Robo Mesa dropping even further back?
Robo Mesa is not having a good time. Okay. People are driving clean laps. Oh, Infinity has 5 corner cuts. That's a 5-second penalty.
And that's indeed.
Otmanus is still on 4.
And so is Robo Mesa.
As of right now, Otmanus is the race leader because he doesn't have a 5-second time penalty yet.
Of course, those corner cuts those penalties can be removed during pitting if you just stand still for 5 extra seconds before you head off, or 10 if you have 10, or even more if you have more. But it would be very interesting if you did that. In the meantime, look who is making his way up to the top 5. It's someone who has been put on the bingo card before he was in the league. It's this Twin Turbo V6.
Twin Turbo making his appearance for the first time in Formula Roof
And he's into the
showing
pit
what he's
lane.
capable of.
And he's not into the pit lane. That was
Already?
very interesting.
Oh, okay.
He just bugged through the pit line.
Okay.
Cube also with a 5-second time penalty, so both Noob Empire racing cars have issues.
That is not good. Not good at all for the Noob Emperor Racing.
Twin turbos
drivers.
around.
Twin turbos round. We were just saying how good he was being in his first race, and then this happens. Well, regardless, he is still giving quite a show. As Infinity now, I think, is pushing to cover for that penalty that he created. This might in turn create more penalties as he gets a corner cut.
As
just
he gets a
now,
corner
the
cut,
exit of the
quite
last
awesome.
corner. But he did get quite a substantial gap to Otmanos, which is now 4.85 seconds, which means he is close to being in the provisional lead again.
In the meantime, we do have lapped cars. Palace Lover being a lap down, of course. Kimberly Rule is not finishing this race. He was sadly out ruled by his own disconnective issues. That can happen. Aquacar in the meantime has been overtaken by Kepro.
Dropping in fifth. Quepro now going for the podium position in his first race this season. Still, the NS cars look to be the leading midfield pack team.
Yeah, and if I am looking
Oh, and that's an error for Infinity, which loses quite a bit of time to Otmanos. That pressure is getting to him. Meanwhile, Otmanos is keeping it clean. He's still under the 5 corner cuts required for a penalty.
so is Robo Mesat. Cube in the meantime has caught his 10 seconds. And we have already 2 people above 15 corner cuts. And Nick really has to watch his corner cuts because he's 6 corner cuts away from a black flag.
That is quite the amount of corner cuts.
He has
For
19
Nick.
at the moment. Ingerman is the second most with 15, and then I Love Football with 14. As we look at the rest of the corner cuts, I do think Twin is with 9. He has 5 seconds as well. So we gotta watch those pit stops so we make sure we get the penalties removed as well. Although I have to say the leading pack has a full pit stop ahead to the P3 and above.
This is a very close race for the lead. Very close race for the podium. Well, not as much, but still, you know.
As not a lot is happening. Well, it's great to be back for the down Infinity with a
That was a
bump.
scare for Infinity.
So it looked like he would almost throw it away, but he keeps it rolling. We're almost a third way through this race, but it's finally racing here. We have 12 people on track at the moment, which is not too bad. And he spins. Infinity
Oh,
spins.
and that's a spin for Infinity. He keeps it in track.
Where is
But that's gonna
Otmanos?
lose him a lot of time.
Otmanos now
is gonna
catching
squeeze
up with
his
him.
chance to overtake
And
him.
Otmanos takes the lead, but he goes wide, and that's 5 seconds for Otmanos, I believe. It is.
So now both of the drivers are back to first, you know, you get it.
Yeah.
They're back to square one, or whatever you can say. Both of them now equalized as they both have a penalty.
Oh, where's
and
Otman going?
they
Where's
both
Otman
are
going?
in.
Where's Otman going?
Where's Otman going? That is a huge mistake. That's gonna lose him a lot of time.
And that was also
Well, not
completely
that much.
uncalled for, but like I do not understand why that happened.
That might have been a lag spike, for example.
That might have
We
been
do
yeah.
not know. Maybe he pressed R by mistake and activated the mouse mode. We do not know what caused that, but what happened is that now Infinity is back in the race lead. Now both of them with a penalty, and both of them again within a second of each other. These are great fights that are happening right now. Infinity gets another corner cut, and he is now on 7. Meanwhile, as we can see, Otman was keeping it clean with 5. Is that what's gonna allow him to win in this race? He's keeping the gap to Infinity pretty consistently. It's always under 5 seconds. That might get him the win. As we're approaching the middle halfway of the race,
we're just over third, like with in about
yes.
6 laps. We're halfway through, and
Yeah,
I do wonder when we will see our first pit stops.
I don't think they're gonna be that late. The mediums at this stage are gonna be pretty worn out. People will want to pit to get that upper edge on the other drivers. But then again, if you pit too early, then you're gonna have problems at the end of the race. And considering this is a Roblox league, spins are gonna be pretty hefty if your tires are worn out.
Yeah.
So, especially the people in the lead will want to be careful as to when they box. Too early, too late, we do not know. As we're approaching now,
Robo Mesa not really gaining anything on Capro, but in the meantime, Capro is really needing to be careful because he's 5 corner cuts away from that 25 corner cuts that you need for a black flag. Injured 8 corner cuts away, and Aiden McGreedy, I Love Football, better known as that, is 10 corner cuts away. In the meantime, Autobahn 1.8 behind Infinity. Drifting Casey still in the podium position. Very surprising stuff by him.
Otman was getting way closer to Infinity than he was before. This is now 1.8 seconds, and it looks like in the first sector he has gained about 0.3 of a second. Getting closer and closer now. This is a very exciting race.
As both of the leaders had a big lag spike right there, rubber banding going on. Wacky Harrison has apparently spun out. And Twin Turbo V6 is not far behind his still. But let's go on board with Robo Mesa, who's not far behind Capro. It's only 3 seconds difference.
Ooh. Infinity was close to spinning again, getting caught by the gravel trap.
Travel grab, awesome stuff.
Gravel trap.
Of course, Capro stick with a 20-second pit stop, so he basically has another pit stop over his pit stop, if you look at it like that. Atmana is in the meantime 1.6, and Tristan Casey has found a little bit time on the leaders. So if you look at the last laps at 121, he did not find any time on the leaders. My apologies. Robo Mesa with an 18 sector 1. I don't think he's finding any good amount of time. Twin Turbo V6. Robo Mesa comes into the pit lane. He has a 5-second time penalty. Let's look at him. And he does not serve his penalty, so that will mean that either he has to do another pit stop and serve it, or it will be added to the end of his race. He goes to the hards.
And Infinity goes into the pits. Infinity is going into the pits.
Infinity.
Let's see if he will serve this penalty. Otman goes on.
There's another car going into the pit lane. Just can't see who it is. Whoever it was, he was not serving his penalty. Will Infinity serve his penalty? Of course, he has 5 seconds as well. He does not serve it.
Wait, the pit stops work. I'm so happy about that. Actually, I was so worried about that.
No, I fixed it.
The bias is no more now. I'm gonna go back to being unbiased. Infinity now getting out with fresh hard tires. He might want to get the gap on Otman, who is still out with those worn mediums.
But the question,
That's gonna be pretty hefty.
the question is also, will Otmanos serve his penalty or not, as Otmanos is approaching Cube. Cube, I think he's struggling a little bit with the car and maybe a bit of lag as well. As I
Yeah,
have
Cube
seen.
should box this lap. But I don't know.
Not the team boss telling the drivers what to do.
Nah, I'm just saying that as an unbiased person. I do not mean to give anyone any tips. As now, Cube goes into the pits. Oh wow, amazing stuff. Definitely wasn't me.
Will Cube
Anyways,
serve his penalty? That's the question. He has 10 seconds to his name. Will he serve them and
He
get
can decide if he wants to serve the penalty or not.
Oh my god. Okay.
Meanwhile, Otman still, if I'm not mistaken, still hasn't served his penalty. He's still running.
Yeah, I do believe
And
Cube is
meanwhile-
serving his penalty.
Cube is serving his penalty. That's good. That's good. The gap between Infinity and Otman is 20 seconds. Let's see if Otman does not pit. If it goes
Yeah, Cube,
any
you can go.
lower than this. Considering the low speed of the pit box, Infinity might have already gotten the jump on Otman. True, he has not served the penalty, but it might be a good insight. Meanwhile, Otman has gotten 6 corner cuts, so he is closer than ever to Infinity. Meanwhile, Infinity has been keeping it clean this past few laps.
And there's only
And
one
let's see.
driver without any penalty at all. Well, 2 of them right now, because Cube served his, but there's only one driver who has not even got one, and Aquacar, known for his clean driving. And Otmanos in the pit. Otmanos into the pit lane.
Otmanos is into the pits at the current moment. Let's see how far he is in the pits. Let's see if Infinity manages to get the jump. Otmanos jumps out of the car and goes back in. That is not how he's meant to do it, but I guess that'll work. That's gonna lose him a lot of time. A lot of time.
And he
Now
did serve his pit.
Infinity-
He did serve his penalty.
Infinity is now way out in the lead. He has served this penalty, but it's still not enough, as Infinity now has more than the penalty he served ahead. Infinity will have to serve the penalty at the end of the race, but if Otmanos wants to have a chance at winning, he needs to get into that 5-second window behind him. And I do not know, but with the
Oh, he's
slow
around.
pit stop caused by-
Otmanos is around.
Otmanos is around. And that is a terrible mistake. Maybe the pressure is building up. Not only that, he went for mediums again.
And there's
Is he
more
trying
drivers
to
into the
pull
pit
it
lane.
out?
Ingerman is into the pits. Will he serve his penalty?
This was a grave mistake for Otmanos, who was in the fight for the win and all this time. Meanwhile, let's not write him off.
Football into the pits as well.
Because Infinity is known to make mistakes a lot of times. Infinity might get another penalty, as he is now on 9 corner cuts. Infinity is on 9 corner cuts. That would cost him dearly if he ever gets one more. Meanwhile, Otmanos, keeping it clean, served his penalty and is now only on 2 corner cuts. He just got one.
And I Love Football is serving his pen. It's stuck for a very
And
long
yet,
time.
Look at that gap between Infinity and Otmanos. That costed him dearly.
You can go, I Love. You can go. You are good to go.
Even if Infinity got a 10-second time penalty, Otmanos would still have to find the pace to close in 10 seconds more. And that's honestly quite a huge gap. A lot of times in this league it has been unsurmountable, but we never know.
In the meantime, Nick said he will pit very soon. I would suggest, or did he do it already? I think he did. Not quite sure. Although then I don't believe he did serve his penalty.
we are now finishing the lap that signified half race distance. We're in lap 20, ladies and gentlemen, and the race looks to be going into a pretty solid direction, but we never can be sure. Everything can happen.
And Aquacar still no penalty for him. In the meantime, Robo Mesa is the last of the cars of the leading lap, on the lead lap. So we'll go on board with him.
And Otmanos has lost 1 more second to the lead. Is he demoralized after this grave mistake?
And Twin Turbo V6 goes to the podium.
Moving into the podium positions. Aquacar moving fourth. Is that because Drifting Casey is into the pits? Or did he just
Drifting Casey did pit just a few laps ago, yeah.
But why did he lose the places just now?
Because that was last lap when he pitted.
Guys, let's keep in mind, did Twin Turbo serve it? Twin Turbo has 14 corner cuts, so we might be able to see an Aquacar podium, which would be incredibly unexpected. I don't know if Aqua has pitted though. Has he pitted?
Aqua, for as long as I'm concerned, he has not pitted yet. And
So
if he
that
did,
might
then
be
I
the
am
reason
blind.
why he doesn't.
No, Aqua's still on
Yeah.
those medium tires. We can look at it. Let's see the pit board, if he have pitted or not, because you can look at the degradation of the tires if they have pitted or not. And if he didn't, that might be a strategy masterclass from the NS Motorsport garage. I don't know, Aqua's tires are quite worn, but not fully worn out, so I can't really tell, to be honest.
My
Bless you.
apologies. Thank you.
We can see the drivers up front. They are on some older tires, because you can see the times are dropping. They're now setting 120.7s. In the meantime, Robo Mesa still doing 122s.
I mean, to be fair, this is the pace of the hard tire. It does set high to mid 120s. You can get the good lap time every once in a while as Infinity goes wide into the last corner, but doesn't get a corner cut. Now sets a 120.3. This is the time window for the hard tires. These, I remind you all, are fresh hard tires. They've just been put on for about 5 to 8 laps. So they're still as good as new, and they have to nurture these tires up until lap 38, so they're gonna have to last a long time. That's why most drivers that have put the hard tires on at the moment should not stress them too much and nurse them to the end, especially considering the wide gaps that Formula OOF offers. It's quite easy to nurture the tires without being put under pressure.
And whilst you're not being under pressure, just look at Infinity. You can throw it away too because you get too comfortable. So
That is also true.
you gotta always be on edge, but you also have to be a bit relaxed. So you gotta find that fine line between those two. As in the meantime, we have so my brain stopped working. We have 6 lap drivers, 5. My apologies. We have 5 lap drivers. Palace Lover being 3 laps now, but still in the points because the top 12 guarantees points, and at the moment we have 12 active drivers on the track.
On the meanwhile, we have a fight breaking out between Aquacar and Drifting Casey. Aquacar, mind you, still hasn't pitted. This is lap 23. This is a masterclass of tire conservation, but it looks like Aqua might be dropping off times now, as he set a last lap time which was a 125. By far one of the lowest lap times that we've seen in the lap times right now. As he loses the position to Drifting Casey, he might want to box. This is not good for his strategy. Let's see what he does. He stays out. for one more lap.
Is Ocon gonna perform what Alex Albon did in 2022 in Australia, or Ocon did in 2022 in Baku? We'll see that in about 17 laps, 16 laps if he does. 14 laps. 14 laps. Damn, I'm bad at math. As Robo Mesa still losing time to the leaders, 1 minute and 7 seconds behind. Not the race he would have won it. And the only thing that can salvage their wins is maybe a safety car or a red flag, but it doesn't look like that's needed for the moment. So it's a lot of... Oh, Drifting Casey goes very wide into the hairpin.
Drifting Casey might still have a chance of getting a podium,
Yeah,
which would be amazing for the Spiker team.
it would be their best result, beating Buzz Lambo or Super Canine. I don't really recall. I thought it was Super Canine in Monza.
That is not good. If I'm not mistaken, Otmanos already served this penalty, right?
Yeah.
He has already gotten 6 corner cuts after that. 7 now. He is dropping corner cuts left and right. Is he getting under pressure? Now he's not in a good position, as Twin Turbo might get the chance. Well, Twin Turbo has 17 corner cuts, so it's not that good, but still, that's not good for Otmanos, who is now approaching a high number of corner cuts.
As Robo Mesa is also streaming his point of view on this event, so we can maybe check if we have some onboard footage of him going on. I'm now watching that on my side screen. My apologies. Let's see what he can do here as he goes through the first sector. I don't know how far he's behind due to the latency. As we have a beautiful fatherless rascal sitting on the pit wall, looking at no driver at all.
Let's keep something in mind for a second. As Ottman goes into the pits again, as I was saying, Ottman went for the medium tires, which didn't work out, as he's now got to box again for a new set of tires.
Will he? Oh, and there's another current track. I believe that's Amcrawl. I did not focus on that. My apologies. Will Ottman serve his pen? Why is he jumping out? You don't need to jump out for your tires.
I have no clue.
He is serving his penalty though. He is indeed serving his penalty.
And he's now got soft tires. Maybe his chances to win the race are close to, and he spins as he comes out of the pits. This is terrible scenes for
Drifting
the
Casey
team.
now approaching Otmanos. Oh, that's gonna be juicy as well. The junior team battling it out with the main team.
Infinity 10 corner cuts. That's a 10-second time penalty. Not that it matters considering the position he's in, but that's still to be remembered.
As Twin Turbo V6 approaching that corner cut limit, 8 corner cuts away. Otmanos! Again!
Otmanos spins again?
He spins it again.
Otmanos spins again. Now finds himself behind an NER, but it's not the NER of Infinity.
No,
it's the
indeed
NER
not.
of Cube.
That would indeed be something if it was Infinity lapping number 2, but that's not the case right here. As in the meantime, I Love Football sitting in the second to last points position. His teammate Aquacar doing very much better. Ottman starting to feel the pressure. Twin Turbo V6 is still no pit stops, I believe. Is now sitting in second place, and Drifting Casey will take that first place away from Ottmanos. Or not.
Ottmanos, who was one of the favorites to win the race, maybe even the favorite considering he was the pole sitter last year, now finds himself in third place. Oh, as Infinity goes wide, gets a little bit scare in the last sector, but still keeps it nice and tidy inside the track. Goes wide again.
Infinity, I have seen you do that multiple times. I would please ask you to refrain from doing that again.
That's not good for him. He's losing time while he does that. Well, I'm sure he
No,
knows
you
that.
don't really lose time if you do that correctly.
Well,
So-
you do lose time because you have to lift, but still, it's good salvaging. As in fact, his last lap time was 7/10 of a second slower than his usual.
Infinity is not even in the
Infinity.
stage channel. Okay, that's great to
Yeah, I
know.
know. Might have wanted the concentration. Could have been good.
Sven now finally
As
comes
he
in for his
now,
pit stop.
who comes in for a spit stop?
Twin Turbo V6, will he serve his penalty? No, he will not. He goes to new tires though. As
Has
Infinity has
Aquacar
spun around,
pitted?
I think. I believe Infinity has spun
Wait,
around.
no, he hasn't. Wait. He has, but he's back on track. I'll be right back.
Infinity did indeed make a small mistake. He's 3 seconds slower than usual. Harrison comes into the pit lane. Will he serve his penalty?
I'm back. 10 laps to go. The race is getting heated. 75% of the race has been completed. Ooh,
Harrison did
Rhines.
not serve the full 10 seconds he did, so that's he did 5.
Infinity's last lap time was a 1:23, suggesting that he indeed spit.
He indeed did. Well, we all make
He
mistakes.
indeed did spin. So Twin Turbo gained some time, but then again, how many corner cuts? 17 corner cuts. Twin Turbo might still be in black flag
Territory.
in a black flag situation. Yeah, Drifting Casey is only 5 seconds off Akmanos. That is a juicy battle between the two as Aquacar drops into 6th place. This is not the sight you want to see from the GOAT of this league, who is now still refusing to pit and dropping position after position. He's now going to be overtaken, hopefully not by the Paris Motorsports car. He is still the lead NS Motorsport car, which shows just how good he is. That is really a sad sight to see, as he's also about to get lapped by Infinity. That's awful.
As Capro has overtaken Ricky Harrison for the 7th place spot. Ricky Harrison with the Perez Motorsports making his debut in the league. He's fairly new in the league, very good friends with Palace Lover as well, if I remember correctly. Robo Mason, meantime, trying to catch up with Fierce Rifle, and I do not know if they're friends or not. I don't believe they are. But to main rival Twin Turbo V6, who's doing very well for the moment. Robo Mesa just cannot find the pace for some reason.
If I can't be honest, at the current moment, I'd say the driver of the day has been Drifting Casey.
Yeah,
joins
the
the league, sets an amazing lap time in qualifying, and is now in the podium position. He's going to get overtaken by Twin Turbo on the softs, but we can't know how long those softs would last.
As there's an NS Motorsports in the pits. Is it Aquacar?
Might be. Let's check. And it is! Aquacar goes in and changes his tires to the softs. So that was the strategy all along, just to go to get the soft tires. That might have not been the correct strategy, as the mediums can't be stretched for that long. Anybody who would have gotten tire data would have known, wink wink. And that just shows how much time you can lose because of the strategy, which was almost non-existent for the NS Motorsport team.
As we're only 8 laps away from checkered flag in Hockenheim here.
Infinity still keeping it clean, as we can see. Getting quite a bit of scares. He goes wide again, but keeps it in the track just barely. That is quite a scare for the British driver. as he now approaches the last corner to start the 31st lap. Set 8 laps to go, including this one. This might still be all to lose for Infinity. To be fair, it is Infinity's race to lose. As we can see, the gap between him and the second place driver is almost 1 minute. That is a ridiculous gap considering the speed and pace that Otmanos holds. That is truly been a showing of how consistency will bring you results. As you can see, Infinity has 12 corner cuts, not 9 anymore. So we will have a 10-second time penalty instead of a 5-second time penalty. But still, it just shows how consistency and strategy is incredibly important to win a race. Mind you, Infinity is a rookie. This is his first race and he has gotten not only pole, but is now comfortably in the lead. Twin Turbo, following close behind Otmanos, might want a piece of that P2 pie and snatch that position from himself. Meanwhile, Cube is on 21 corner cuts. That's a risk from him. He might get a black flag, so he might want to be a bit more cautious. Let's check the corner cuts for everyone else. 15 seconds for Ingerman as well. That is not good. It looks like he's another driver who's prone to corner cuts. Robo Mesa again with a 5-second time penalty. And Twin Turbo is on 23 corner cuts. If he gets 2 more, that's a black flag. So he has to be careful in this fight of his for P2. Otmanos, on the other hand, is pretty safe from Twin Turbo, as he's only got 1 corner cut to his name. That is incredible from Otman, who has served all of his penalties in the pits. Aqua, on the other hand, pitted and still has 6 seconds. He is the last to fall and get the corner cuts. As now, Infinity is approaching his driver from behind. That is a sad sight to see. The last season's runner-up and favorite to win the league is now not as in shame as he was. He did confirm that he was tired and that he didn't have a lot of laps in the game, but still, you do not like to see this. Infinity now approaching the end of the first sector. His laps have not faltered. They've always been in the high to mid to low 20s. Onmanos, on the other hand, just set a faster lap time. He still hasn't beat. Ooh, that's a big upset for the tires for Infinity there. Onmanos on the soft compound tire still hasn't beat the time that Infinity set on lap 2 with his fresh mediums. As he now put a corner cut, Optimus, in first and second sector. But he has been closing with Infinity. This shows that the soft tire is indeed faster than the hard. But is this the correct strategy? Those tires are already a few laps old. They might start dropping off now. That is the moment where Otman might want to look at his back and defend from the drivers trying to get his podium position from him. Specifically, for example, drifting Casey. Black flag for who? For Twin Turbo! Twin Turbo black flag! As he has now gotten 25 corner cuts, that is race over for him. He'll have to go into the pits, and that will allow drifting Casey to get into the podium. That is incredible scenes in the first race as you get the first black and white flag for Twin Turbo. Wow. A guy running in the podium positions still isn't able to keep it. Everyone will move up 1 position essentially. Everyone will... Drifting Casey have? I'm trying to find him. He has 10, so he's very safe as we approach now lap 35. And only now 4 laps remaining in this incredibly exciting race. As will Twin Turbo head into the pits to finish his race, he should, as he has gotten a black flag with his soft tires. He might want to still set a lap time, but he needs to go into the pits. His race is over. So, at the current moment, the leaderboard is Infinity with a huge gap to second place Ottman. Okay, as I was saying, Infinity in P1 followed not closely behind, unfortunately, by Otmanos. Such a heartbreak for the Moroccan driver. As we see in third place, Drifting Casey, who, of course, we don't count Twin Turbo because he is, in fact, out of the race. Cube, has Cube pitted? It appears he has served. Yes. Yes? He lost all of his corner cuts. Yes, okay. So, then we have in fourth place, Robo Mesa, 1 lap down from the leader. In fifth, Paris Motorsports with Wacky. That is a great result for the team, who is in his first race. Aquacar in P6. Such a heartbreak from the British driver, who has lost so many positions because of a strategy gone wrong. Then we have Cupro, who is a veteran driver. He has already driven 1 season and is now running in P8 in his brand new team. As we approach the penultimate lap, then we have following closely in P8 Spartuccia, I Love Football, the other NS car in P, as we see Aquacar overtaking Infinity. Great moves from the GOAT. That is why he truly is the GOAT of F1. We have I Love Football, the second NS driver running in P10. Cube, the second NER driver running, no, sorry. Cube is running in P10. Football is running in P9. Then we have Palacello, who I'm not familiar with, the Astral driver, driving in P11, and the last place position, although Hay has not driven for most of the race, still goes to Hay, who is currently in 12th position, thanks to Twin Turbo's black flag. As we now are approaching the third sector on the penultimate lap, we can see Infinity approaching his last lap to his first race in Formula U. That is a great performance from Infinity, who has given it his all in his first race, calm, composed. He did go wide a couple of times and spin at the beginning of the race, but that didn't stop him from keeping his cool and allowing him to get this amazing result. Otmanos now dropping time. Those soft tires are screaming for help, most definitely. And Infinity gets a scare on this corner at the end of Sector 1. Gets 14 corner cuts. I don't know if there's a penalty for 15. I'm not sure. But that's not good for him. As we can see, Infinity rounding the hairpin. And who is that? Do not tell me. That would be an incredible upset. That is Otmanos running ahead of Infinity, but only because Infinity could lap Otmanos. That is a great upset. What has happened here? Did Otmanos spin? That is not good for him. As we see, regardless of lapping or not. Oh wait, no, that was Cube. Never mind, ladies and gentlemen. I just made stuff up. That was crazy. Anyways, as we see Infinity approaching the last corner, 15 seconds of penalties for 15 corner cuts, but that does not matter at all as he goes wide in the last corner, barely keeps it, turns the last corner. The rookie got pole, led for almost every lap of the race, and is now approaching the last corner. Infinity wins the first race for NER in this season. Great result for him. Otmanus will be heartbroken, but he is approaching the last corner, almost in the third sector. Just to show how much time between the two drivers, Otmanus is still not in the third sector, and Infinity is already celebrating his first race win, his first pole, amazing result, and of course his first fastest lap, set in the second lap of the race. Otmanus now approaching the last corner. I think this will be race for him. Still gets an amazing P2. What is he doing? Oh, he's finishing the race backwards. Such a display from the Lambo driver, who still doesn't have any hopes up. He just realized that he's way too low for that, and he's gonna finish the race going ahead. Otmanus finishes in P2. Great result for him regardless. Twin Turbo is out of the race regardless. Drifting Casey now approaching the end. Probably our driver of the day ends in P3. Amazing podium for the Spiker team. Great result for him. Robo Mesa might have not gotten what he wanted this race, but he will be better next race. Oh, I love football. Last second black flag. That is incredibly bad for him. That is such an upset. Meanwhile, Q-Pro barely keeps it. And that is pretty much it for the race. As soon